what my psychiatrist recommended is you can take medication.
A young man should learn to rule his body like his temper. He should keep it always under complete control. That sometimes is not easy to do. This is a very sacred power. The Lord has commanded that you use it only with one to whom you are legally and lawfully wedded. And he has decreed serious penalties indeed for the misuse of it. This power begins early in life, with some when you are hardly in your teens. This has a purpose, for with this power come the attributes of manhood. You notice the changes in your stature, in your voice, a beard and other masculine characteristics become part of your nature. Your feelings also change. The physical power will influence you emotionally and spiritually as well. It begins to shape you to fit and to look and to feel and to be what you need to be as a father. It affects your life several years before you should express it fully. You must always guard this power with manly wisdom. You must wait until your marriage to use it. During that waiting, what do you do with these desires? My boy, you are to control them. You are forbidden to use them now in order that you may use them with worthiness and virtue and with the fullness of joy at the proper time in your life. When this power begins to form, it might be likened to having a little factory in your body, one designed to produce that substance that can generate life. This little factory moves quietly into operation as a normal and expected pattern of growth and begins to produce that life-giving substance. It will do so perhaps as long as you live. It works very slowly. That is the way it should be. For the most part, unless you tamper with it, you will hardly be aware that it is working at all. As you move closer to manhood, this little factory will sometimes produce an oversupply of this substance. The Lord has provided a way for that to be released. It will happen without any help, nor without any resistance from you. Perhaps one night you will have a dream, and in the course of it, the release valve that controls that little factory will open and release all that is excess. The factory and the automatic release valve works on its own schedule. The Lord intended it to be that way. It is to regulate itself. This will not happen very often. You may go a long period of time, and there will be no need for this to occur. When it does, you should not feel guilty. It is the nature of young manhood and is part of becoming a man.
Travis Wayne Goodsell. After yesterday's video exposing the church's plot to have Trump used to hand over power to the individual states and then have him murdered, just in case Trump changes his mind and wants to I then found myself this morning under cyber terrorist attack by Microsoft. As my camera was failing after I was trying to obtain pictures for the previous video. And Microsoft's Bing search was resisting and allowing only one picture rather than the option to select sizes of pictures, which is their normal practice. This is cyber terrorism by Microsoft to censor other people's sizes of picture. It is a serious crime by a corporation who's wanting to screw over customers to cater to the orders of their major stockholder, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And so, despite this, I'm still able to obtain the pictures that I demand, to make these videos to warn you of the danger of this church. So, for this video, it is a greatest classic hits video of General Conference, but I need to add commentary because this is just hilarious. This is a banned video by the church. Elder Boyd K. Packer in 1976, October General Conference, gave this talk. And the church, after this talk was given, made a whole pamphlet and gave it out to boys into the 80s, as I would then get it in the 80s. This was during the priesthood session of conference. He made it very clear, this is only to the young men. So you fathers, you can go to sleep. Even though he condemns fathers if they did not teach what he says in this talk. Like my dad failed to teach me. 10 years later. I was only 6 years old. And as 6 years old in Michigan, I was too young to go to the priesthood session with my dad. Back in those days, General Conference was held at I'm guessing it was a school or a university or a place where plays were performed. Because I remember being a little kid during conferences, going to a long journey where a building with stairs going up into it, and then there was a long hall, and then there were rooms similar to BYU for their lecture halls. And then there would be a screen and video on the screen. Long time ago. And so for priesthood session, no, Dad didn't want to take babies with him to priesthood. No siree. So yeah, I never heard this talk. But I sure as hell got the pamphlet when I became a deacon. And it's been banned by the church. I was made aware of it, again, because I already knew about the pamphlet and all that stuff, but YouTube recommended a video by a guy who did a less than 2-minute video saying the pamphlet was banned. I guess he didn't know it was a talk, even though it says it was from the October 1976 General Conference. Did he not bother to check the church's website for it? it's not there. And so I don't understand why he only did a video saying it's banned and not explain what is in the pamphlet, which is available online. Google and Microsoft are having difficulties finding stuff that need to be censored to not be made available for people. As I also have the video, as the previous video and this one demonstrates. I have the banned talk directly from his mouth, not just the typewriter of the Mormon at the church office building who transcribed it into the pamphlet for Mormon publication. And so I had forgotten about this when I was in the older singles ward, and one of the sisters who will remain anonymous because she worked at BYU and therefore knew about it. I had no idea what she was talking about when she said my little factory. But read over the pamphlet again. Oh, that's what she meant. See, sexual words in this church are verboten. They struggle to get it out of their mouths. And they teach Mormons that it's swearing, cursing, profanity, sin to say them. And so, like in the previous video about Mahdi, Mormons literally believe sex, S-E-X, S-E-X, is a four-letter word that cannot be spoken of. Even Bible words, Mormons are afraid of saying, otherwise getting struck by lightning. They will not say hell. Mormons are deeply afraid and scared for their soul to say hell. I don't know how they're able to read your Book of Mormon, let alone the Bible. Oops. 137 times hell is in the scriptures. And start with Deuteronomy, lowest hell, sorrows of hell in 2 Samuel, Job 11:8, deeper than hell. Hell is naked. Job 26. Psalm 9, turned into hell. Psalm 16, soul in hell. Psalm 18, sorrows of hell. These are awesome titles for movies and songs. Psalm 55, quick into hell. Psalm 86, lowest hell. Psalm 116, pains of hell. 139, my bed in hell. Proverbs 5, her steps take hold on hell. Proverbs 7, her house is the way to hell, going down to the chambers of death. 9, depths of hell. Proverbs 15, hell and destruction. Proverbs 15, depart from hell. Proverbs 23, soul of hell, hell and destruction. Proverbs 27. Here we have Isaiah, therefore hell hath enlarged herself. Isn't it fascinating that they call hell a she? Isaiah says hell a lot, and Ezekiel multiple times, Amos, dig into hell, Jonah and the whale, Habakkuk, desire as hell, danger of hellfire in Matthew. So let's find out where the Book of Mormon begins at 55. So the majority of them are in the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith's Doctrine and Covenants. Mormons beat out the Bible in the word hell. So we check damn. Another 4-letter word. Ooh, it said damnable. It does not have damn. Interesting. It has damned, damnable, damnation, damned, damning, and damsel. And so yes, idol worship is king and prevails in this church. And using fear to scare Mormons into obedience. And sex is one of those idolatry fear tactics. It is the number one. It is Lucifer's plan. That's why there are inverted pentagrams on the keystone of the doors of the Salt Lake headquarters temple. This is Lucifer's church. It doesn't matter what you name the church, it matters what your doctrine is. That defines your church. And Mormons get pissed and they rage against the machine. Bleep you, Travis! Bleep you! We will rape women if we feel like it. They do. And they do. And so he appears, because he's general and he's not getting specific, he won't say the words. He leaves it open for boys to claim ignorance because he's not being specific. What are you talking about? He said, I'm not supposed to feel guilty about masturbation. It's a natural process. God made me that way. But no, he doesn't. He's only talking about wet dreams are the normal process. He calls masturbation the temptation, tampering with the little factory. No. This is where he deceives you. And this is why the church originally allowed this and made the pamphlet of it to hand it out to boys. Is because it makes it very clear that the church is pretending to teach sex ed as church leaders to Mormon boys, not Mormon girls, and still condemn masturbation. For which in the 80s, you then, I see anyway, a rise of other apostles coming out against masturbation and saying the word. To make it very clear that Boyd K. Packer meant masturbation is tampering. What was the word he used? Yeah, tampering with the little factory. But when you hear about him talk about how the little factory works, he kind of gets it right. And in so doing, when he then goes and talks about masturbation, you don't understand him anymore. Wait a minute, you just said that it's the natural God-designed practice, that I shouldn't feel guilty. See, as a Mormon boy who doesn't get taught sex ed, in my 10.5 year in the summertime, I naturally recognized the little factory began to operate. And there was some fear, just like Carrie in the showers, who didn't understand what's going on because nobody taught her. And they're all laughing at her. And then she gets revenge. Mean girls. And so, no, even the ancient Egyptians knew that masturbation is not tampering with your little factory. I was going to do a mini-me picture. I still should somehow get it in. No little Mormon girls allowed to learn about mini-me, about the mini-me factory. We'll see. And so this is where the church pulls the rug out of Mormon boys' legs to ensnare them with the extortion. Because he talks about the feeling changes that occur. And yet, he won't make the connection with the little factory being the causation of the feeling changes in a boy. You know, just like for women, right? They're all going to laugh at you, and then you're going to get angry and violent. Everybody run, the homecoming queen's got a gun. She did it for Johnny. Is she having a really bad period? Maybe we should use that song in the same song in the description below. Homecoming queen. And because we're not properly taught and educated, yeah, you've got jokes galore to mock the oppressive authoritarianisms who are withholding this information from children, which is essential for us to have. And as a boy, not knowing what my childhood peers are saying, and finding out in retrospect what they meant. Oh, that's what they meant way back decades ago. Oh, Lady Red Light. I understand now. Thank you, R-rated movies. When the church forbids something, Mormons rebel. Like the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Swinging is natural in the state of Utah among Mormons, apparently. Because it's real. It's a reality TV show. It is the Housewives, right? Whatever I linked you to in the previous video, because I found it. It was back on Friday night, or Thursday night. And so, yeah, this is why boys act weird in front of women. Just like women act weird in front of guys. It all has to do about sex. Everything is about sex. Sex, 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 sex. And we are weaponized against each other because of the lack of education. To attack and condemn and guilt trip and shame the other back and forth. Because the authorities have set it all up to do that. The church says, well, the women in the church are just helping you to behave, to control these powers and not be guilty of tampering with your little factory. So yes, this is why the church, he exposes it without talking about it directly. But he says, let me quote it. First, I want you to know this. If you are struggling with this temptation, got to read back further. One of you, perhaps, just one, has not fully understood until now. Perhaps your father did not talk to you. You may already have been guilty of tampering with these powers. Which, technically, tampering with the process is only drugs or castration. That is how you tamper. Otherwise, no, he won't tell you this. You may have developed a habit. So there is no habit. It's the natural process. It fills up, it sends the signal to the brain, the frontal lobe, hey, time to blow. Naturally done. And if you don't do it, what bedwetting? The other bedwetting. That is the cycle. But he's telling you, no, only bedwetting. You must wet your bed. You must endure the humiliation of wetting the sheets. And your mommy seeing that you wet your sheets as she has to clean your sheets. And the underwear and your jammies. What's the underwear for kids? Not me, I rebelled. Were underoos. Which back in those days, they had child porn commercials. Little kids in underoos. Because Christianity hadn't gotten that severe yet. So my mom comes home, having been to the store, and she comes into our room in Placentia, and she says, "Here you go, guys. Which ones do you want? Do you want Spider-Man or whatever the other one was?" And I took a look at underwear. No, ew. Because my childhood peers had already been attacking any boy that was wearing them. No way am I going to put a target on my bum for the other kids in school to laugh at me. And so they both went to my brother. So I maintained the ironic wear, as I called it. What do you do then after developing a habit, which comes naturally? This is his deception. This is where he's guilt-tripping boys. He first says what's true, but only partly true. And then he goes into the lie to contradict what he had previously said. First, because masturbation, the release, is what controls and regulates our moods. If only they taught Carrie. That's all they had to do. The homecoming queen, just tell her. Just tell her. Then she won't get a gun. Won't do it for Johnny. First, I want you to know this. If you are struggling with this temptation, see, he's saying it's of the devil. He first said it's of God. And now he's saying the other part that the church can't stop, bedwetting. Masturbation they can get you on, but not bedwetting. So they target you for for masturbation and call it a temptation of the devil rather than godly, which is bedwetting. God's way is bedwetting, Lucifer's way is masturbation. And perhaps you have not quite been able to resist. The Lord still loves you. Anybody been watching the homepage of the church lately? The website. This is where they got it from. And they banned this. It is not anything so wicked, nor is it a transgression so great that the Lord would reject you because of it. But it can quickly lead to that kind of transgression. It is not pleasing to the Lord, nor is it pleasing to you. So he doesn't love me? It does not make you feel worthy or clean. Well, yeah, because you told me that I'm supposed to feel guilty, unworthy, unclean, and feel ashamed. Like Lucifer to Adam and Eve. And then it goes on and says, there are ways to conquer such a habit? First of all, a lot of firsts. You must leave the factory alone. We all do. We're not cutting it off. We're not popping pills from our psychologist. And here's the lie. Enough for it to slow down. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Once our factory starts, it's consistent. It keeps building and building at a certain rate of speed. 24/7, day and night. That's why when it's sufficiently built up a supply from the previous explosion, it informs your brain, we've got enough to blow again. And that's when your mind starts getting sexy thoughts. Those sexy thoughts get more intense the longer we resist. And so he says, resisting is not easy. Yeah, we have to blow. If we don't blow, women think we're weird. And we get grabby. And we get sexual around women. And women get uncomfortable. Women resist us. And they report us to HR. And they claim rape, etc., etc. The longer we go without, the more intense it gets until enough is enough, and then it blows in the middle of the night. In the still of the night, I feel my heart beating heavy, telling me I gotta have more. This is the natural process. It's the same for women, just different. This is why women go through their mood cycles. This is why men go through theirs. And for the church to tell you you can't do anything about it until you're married, that exposes this whole thing as the fraud that I said it was. Because he's saying that once you're married, now you can do extracurricular pumping, tampering with a little factory, because now it's legal tampering. Without marriage, it's illegal tampering. Do you not see what he's pulling the wool over your eyes? That was with? Because in marriage, he doesn't say, well, the man and the woman have to time it just right for when the woman is about to ovulate and the man is about to blow as a bedwetting. And how is it supposed to happen if we don't tamper? Because even this act of sex is tampering for women in the same way that masturbation is for women, as it is for men in sex with masturbation. It's the same thing. He's not telling you this. He's lying to you to make boys feel guilty about what God designed, and saying that it's Lucifer's plan. This is the evil that he will not tell you the truth about. And for the church to have this banned is also extremely curious. Not just to stop the publication of the pamphlet, which pretty much ended under Benson. There are still a few remaining pamphlets around. Like pennies. But for the church to pull the whole conference talk from their website, this is where I am clueless as to what happened. When did they pull it? Was it after he died in 2015 under the curse of Joseph Smith, with Perry Packerscott, with the Jewish lunar tetrad along with the solar tetrad? When did they remove it? Because I'd known about Elder Pullman from October 86. As I had found out about it, the church had on their website his original remake. And then I found out about it, did the videos about it. Church pulled it, removed it from the website. So I did the videos about that. And then sometime later I went, oh, they brought it back. The tampered edition, not the original. Church refuses to provide the original video of Elder Pullman. That the gospel and the church are separate. No, same. But nonetheless, and so maybe the guy who does the less than 2-minute video explains it, but I doubt it. I think he just found out that it's banned, and he knew about it as a young boy as well, even though he's obviously younger than I am. And so I don't know. It's very curious that the church would do this to sabotage Mormons and then to just pull it. So don't let that physical part of you take charge. Stay in control. And so yes, if I were to go into further detail and make this 5-hour video for you, I would go over again with you that the Bible never talks about sex with virgins. It only talks about married women, women who've had babies, temple prostitutes. That's what they're always condemning, and sister and mothers, but but generally throughout the whole of the Jewish literature, they make it very clear. Fornication is not what the church tells you it is. Necking and petting with a cute little honey. Tampering with your little factory. No, it's porn. Porn. Greek. How we say Jesus rather than Jesus or Joshua. Yahshua. It's because European languages started changing phonetics. But the church doesn't care about translation. I even checked. 1971, the very first conference for April, I checked the sustaining vote, and sure enough, No translator. None. Never. They will not say that the president of the church, let alone any of the 12, which are not supposed to have any of the gifts, are translators. They won't say it. They do not want translation. They want nothing to do with it. They will not translate the Bible correctly. Because this is why. So they can keep you dumb. Control you. So here, this is a beam and a mote. When he says, stay in control. Condition your body to do the will of your mind. You do this, to do this, you must keep your mind on worthy thoughts. That's a beam and a mote. He's ordering you to be controlled by him. His will for you. You can only be worthy if you are controlled by him and his will for you. That's the whole church. That's Lucifer's plan. And so then he says vigorous physical exercise helps. That's what my childhood peers said. Women make you weak. Because the concept in boys' minds is that when you let it build up in your body and then it needs to explode, that makes you more aggressive. And so that aggression, they want you to channel it into the sports that you're involved in, whether it's basketball, volleyball, underwater basket weaving, or football. And so, yes, this is why boys, especially raised up as white supremacist Christian nationalists, are very abusive towards girls and rapists, is because of this. He knows, they know, and they don't want boys to know. And this is why, women, this church purposely is grooming Mormon boys to rape you. And then the church can then claim, hey, we told you not to rape. And then, oh, women shouldn't have worn that dress. You're responsible. You were alone with that boy. Therefore, you are guilty of sexual immorality. You are not a victim of rape. He gets to go on a mission while you have to have that baby and give it up to a good Mormon couple through the church's baby trafficking operation, which they did away with, I think, in 2011. And then the Mormon girl, having had a baby, is now used chewing gum and can never be restored until the attempt by a whole bunch of used chewing gum Mormon girls to claim born-again Christian Mormon virgins. Just sad. And so, yes, this is why the church always goes on full attack whenever I expose this sexual deviance of the leaders, this sex abuse to the extreme of the leaders, and to have it documented by them, even after they ban it. Awesome. He knows. He knows. Oh my God, he knows. I know a way to keep your thoughts worthy. It has helped me as an old man who has a wife And I explained it on one occasion in a general conference talk. Let me repeat it for you. Probably the greatest challenge to people of any age, particularly young people, and the most difficult thing you will face in mortal life is to learn to control your thoughts. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. One who can control his thoughts has conquered himself. See, this is where he doesn't get it. Our little factory sends the signal to the frontal cortex, saying it's time. Anytime now. I'm waiting. Hello? Let me get more graphically violent with you to let you know it's time. And so, yeah, no, there is no shutting it off. There is no controlling it. And thus, why it cannot be escalated beyond its process. And psychologists have been used by this church to attack Mormon kids. Oh, you masturbate? Yeah, that's a problem. You're mentally retarded. Oh, you had your menstruation cycle? Couldn't keep it under control, could ya? Yep, mentally retarded. Psychologists, people. Just like they did to the Jews in Nazi Germany. Human experimentation, sexual abuse. So, if you don't want to listen to me, I'll at least put the clips at the beginning for you.